At the T-minus 3-minute mark, tape recorders on board the spacecraft were turned on. These recorders record both voice and data. The ignition sequence starts. The engine's now building up to 7.7 million pounds of thrust. We have a launch commit and we have a liftoff. Moving back. The Saturn V lifting off with power.
Is 105.9 The Radiator, the Rocket Shop. I am your host once again, Tom Proctor, and with me now is Bears Tapestry. How's it going?
Well, thanks. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Well, Bears Tapestry is usually your whole band, if I'm right.
Yeah, I kind of have like an internal dilemma about that because I don't know whether to call myself just this is just Bear Borges coming by myself, or this is solo Tapestry, or yeah, I don't know.
How do you define that?
Which part? The solo Tapestry?
Because you do play solo and you do play with a band. So when you do come to a solo gig as a solo artist, you just call yourself by your name, or is it Solo Tapestry, or is it Bears Tapestry?
Yeah, I usually just go by my name. I don't know. It's an interesting question because I did write all of the music that we play as Bears Tapestry. But everybody in the band has put in so much effort. It kind of, it doesn't feel like fully right to claim the whole name of, the Bears Tapestry on my own. So, I don't know. I guess either. I don't think anybody would be offended to call myself Bears Tapestry. No.
We're getting into real psychological minutia.
Just I haven't thought about that deeply, maybe ever. So.
Well, we do like starting out with a song before we get into the therapist couch kind of questions.
Sure.
So, what have you got for us?
This first one is called Flowers. just like them.
That was Bear's Tapestry with Flowers. Whenever I listen to folk music, and especially one like the sort of music that you sing, it comes out very raw. It sounds like you're really singing from the heart. How does it feel when you invite an audience into that like personal story? Is it something difficult to do, or is it something that you feel necessary?
Wow, great question. Yeah, it's definitely vulnerable. I mean, it feels at times feels hard. I mean, it really depends on the song. Sometimes, some songs have a lot of like anger in them, and it feels like really, I feel like, kind of on fire and like powerful to be sharing that with people, and for that, like to have a space, especially with the band, where you can like really like rock that out with like an amplifier and like drums behind you feels like, awesome. And then other songs like that song that I just played, is more vulnerable, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think all of them are pretty cathartic, and yeah, I found it's best if I close my eyes. Just pretend it's just me.
Do you have on stage? If you don't close your eyes, do you ever lock eyes with anyone in the audience and have a personal moment? Or is it something you just generally try and avoid?
I try to avoid it mainly. Yeah, sometimes my partner Hannah will come to a show, and I'll try to make eye contact with her just once, just to be like, hey, thanks for
Right.
being here. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like just in general, I play music mainly for myself. I don't know. Maybe that's just selfish, but I think, among my favorite musicians, that's almost like why I like certain musicians over others, because it's, you can tell they're just kind of like doing their own thing. Like I was a big fan of Bob Dylan for a while. It was a big influence of mine, and I just it was mainly a college thing, but yeah, in the peak of my being like super into his music, I just loved the fact that he would just do and say and like put out just like weird stuff, and you could tell he just like did not really care that much what folks thought of him that came to his shows. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I feel that that's just Bob Dylan and his genius is kind of the negative side to that is that he did not really care about anyone's feelings, and
Yeah, I
he'd
know.
tear
Yeah,
people apart in songs.
yeah. There's definitely limits. I don't know if I want to get to that
Right.
level, but yeah.
And for people like your partner and the band, those that are close to you, who might be able to identify with those lyrics, do they when they listen to these songs have any suggestions for you, or do they temper any kind of feelings while you're singing to them? Um, do they have like any input into the creation of these songs? I suppose is what I'm getting to.
I've generally, there's songs that are come out of pretty personal experiences, and like all the lyrics are very intentionally placed where they are for a reason. And sometimes it may not be like a very musical reason. Like to the listener, it may sound like, oh, that word doesn't sound that great right there, or like the way they said that was not, could have been better or different or something. But generally, like those sorts of things are just really personal, and they just feel right to me. And so I don't. When people do give input on those sorts of things, I kind of just, I say thank you, but no thank you. But the band has like heavily influenced like the arrangement and yeah, just kind of like the sound and the ambiance. The band, pretty much everyone else in the band writes their own parts and kind of does their own thing, and we just give each other feedback on, oh yeah, that sounded great when you did that, or I didn't like that so much, and kind of things get decided that way, generally.
So, what's your process about bringing songs to the band? Is it do you just have like one session where you come in and just unload everything you've got and then everyone goes away and does their own thing, or do you take it song by song? What is your process when arranging this in its totality with a band?
Yeah. Well, I love to use. I don't know if you have an iPhone, but I love to use the voice memos. That's kind of like when I have an idea. I was listening to actually a Song Exploder episode that said it really well recently. I forget exactly what artist it was, but they were, likening when you first write a song to like catching a fish, and you want to keep it on the line. You don't want to pull too hard, but you don't want to let go. Yeah, that's how it feels for me at first, and I kind of just like frantically, want to kind of keep it on the line, so I get it down on a voice memo type of thing. And usually when I have something I really want to work on, because not every one of the songs I've written is, the greatest song ever. But when I have one I want to work on, I'll kind of send it to the band, and next time, I'll let them know, like, well, this would be great to kind of jam on this song or whatever if we have time. And then usually we kind of just run it through and try it out and see what comes of it, the first couple run-throughs. And then we kind of start arranging it and, like, thinking more technically about it. But I like to leave it sort of open for everybody to be creative.
In terms of that, how is that changed? Is that changed at all the way that you write or the way that you create songs yourself? Are you now in the back of your mind knowing that you've got a band to kind of bring it to, and therefore changed it up, or have you kind of kept going as you've always been going in terms of your own songwriting?
Yeah, I've definitely. I feel like the essential process, like the core process of writing a song, is pretty much the same. Where I just have life experiences and something strikes me in a particular way, or kind of just, I don't know, the magic happens, whatever you want to call it, and I'll kind of start fiddling with an idea. But the band has definitely influenced me in the sense that now, I have, not to compare the members of the band to like tools or anything, but like, you have these wonderful musicians, kind of like tools available to you. And so that just opens you up to different possibilities. Like, I love thinking about different rhythms, and lately I've been wanting to try some like polyrhythms where people are playing kind of in different times. Like maybe the rhythm section is playing in like 3, and then like I'm playing in 4 with the lead guitar. Just things like that aren't even, you can't really even like think about that when you're writing just you. So it's definitely opened me up to new things. Yeah, but I'd like to think the core songwriting is kind of the same. Yeah.
I'd love to hear another song. So what have you got for us?
All right. I think I'll play "Singin' the Blues," which is not a blues song. Keep say that's just how it goes. But I just keep singing the blues. Ooh, but I just keep singing the blues. Singing the blues. Feeling like I'm half past sundown, darkness rising, thunder come out at the cliff's edge, above boulders, mortar pebbles brush from God's shoulders, twisted forest, broken nature, ancient fortress, thankless savior, forlorn old man, down by the wastewater treatment plant. Where did you come from?
Singing the Blues by Bears Tapestry there. And one thing I'm quite curious about is you say when you come up with a song, you're ready in there with your phone ready to record it down, but the actual lyrics itself, what inspires them? Is it you did mention it was you got kind of personal stories attached to them, but is there something that you read in order to kind of like get like the syntax right, or is it just a case of waking up in the middle of the night and coming up with a good line?
Yeah, it's tough to say really where it comes from. I mean, I can tell you that I definitely have influences, and occasionally, I'll get into an artist. I'll find an artist that I really love, and I'll learn some of their songs, and I'll find like, I don't know, some range of my voice that sounds like really good and that influences something. Or, there's just like a theme that sounds, that really speaks to me or appeals to me. But generally it's just life happens, and I kind of like, I feel like I'm like recording it with my lyrics a lot of the time. Yeah, a lot of times when I write, I'm not really like writing in like a lyrical form. Like it's just kind of, I'm just writing just to get things down, like in a journal. And occasionally, what happens is I'll process an experience in that way, and then I don't know. It just kind of feels like I have to sing about it sometimes. So I'll just start strumming something on the guitar, and it just. Yeah, I find that if I start to sing over like a riff that I really like, generally what comes out is just like things that have happened, or just things that I'm like working through or with.
And if you always had this kind of songwriter mindset, when did you as a singer songwriter begin?
That's tough to say. Actually, so I picked up the guitar when I was 10, but I wouldn't say that I really started attempting to write until I was probably like 16, 17 or so. But actually, at that time, my first like real musical exposure to like playing out live with a band was my high school punk band called the Vander, and still my most successful venture to date. Somehow we're terrible, but yeah. So I think, I don't know, somewhere along the line there. I mean, I was always interested in writing songs, and it was always kind of like a tool for me to kind of like process what was going on and cope with certain things at home. But I don't know, like, what defines a singer-songwriter really? Like, is it when you first play out like live, or is it kind of like the first song you ever write? Or I'm not really sure.
I think we had someone on the show a couple of weeks ago that swears that she wrote her first song when she was 4.
Wow.
So I mean, if she can claim that, I think you can claim it whenever you wrote your first song and played it to yourself.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. 4. That's bold.
Right.
That's early.
I mean, you said that working with your band has somewhat changed kind of the way that you write. But I also know that Burlington's got, and Vermont in general's got a super tight-knit singer-songwriter community. And I do also see you play with the same bands relatively frequently. I saw you playing with Danny in the Parts, or you have just played with Danny in the Parts quite recently. I think that's when I first saw you. You were playing with Danny in the Parts and Box of Stars.
That's right.
Both of which we've had on this show now. So you're my final one from that particular
check
show.
it off the list now.
What do you learn from playing and performing in the small but vibrant community?
Oh wow, a lot. Well, I mean, first of all, without this community, I wouldn't have a band at all, because, really what connected with the music scene here at first, because when I first moved to Vermont, I wasn't really, like, performing out much at all. So really what connected me at first was my partner, Hannah, who does Honey and Soul and also performed with her jazz band, Warm Water, a while back. I met some people through her, and eventually got connected with Charlie Hill, who does Jay Bangoy, Chazzy Lake, and others. And he was the one who actually, I came to him and I was like, look, I have all these songs. It's about time I record them. Can you help me get them down? Like, I'd love to get a band behind them, but, I don't really, like, have a band right now. And so we kind of were discussing different options for doing that. Like, I was thinking about hiring a band, and we basically discussed all the different ways that we could go about recording. And that's when he introduced me to Dan Kruglak, who is a sound engineer, was originally just going to record me, but I couldn't find a bassist, so I eventually asked Dan, and Dan was down. And it was basically through that process of, like, actually looking for a band. I just started going to open mics, and I found all these people. Whole crazy story. But I mean, that process of kind of like getting a band together and really getting into the community and meeting people and playing with these different groups has been, it's amazing. It's amazing, like, just how many musicians are around here and how many of them are just like super, super talented. And I think, I don't know, it's hard to really put into words what I've learned from that. I definitely learned about the music industry, like, just how crazy it is who actually is successful and who isn't, because there's so many bands here that could, like, I would love to listen to on the radio, or I would, I'd love it if they did international tours and things. So that's definitely been a cool lesson. But also, like, how to collaborate and, like, a balance between kind of, doing what you're passionate about and doing work, because both of those things are a part of, playing music in town, and just seeing, people's different approaches to that and kind of figuring out what I really want to get out of it has been a big, learning curve for me as well. Yeah, so much.
And did you ever manage to get those songs down? Have you got an album? Is there an album on in the works for the band? What we're looking at here in terms of getting some Bears Tapestry playing on the radio or close to?
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for asking. Actually, we just recorded 4 songs this past spring, and so those are in the mixing phase, and will hopefully be done later this month mixing, and we hope to get them out late November, December. And in the meantime, while that's kind of wrapping up, we're starting our next recording venture, kind of more with the band. The first 4 songs were more of a solo, kind of stripped back singer-songwriter type of feel. And these next ones we're planning on kind of doing more of a rock orchestra type of, really big rockin' sound. So I'm excited for that. But that'll probably be a while before that's out.
Right. Before I let you play us out, what gigs you got coming up, and where can we find you if we do want to find out what you're up to?
Yeah, so we actually are playing this Saturday with Danny and the Barts and Zach DuPont, and that's at Sidebar. It's going to be, I believe doors are at 7:30. Show starts at 8. And free show, and we're doing kind of an All Souls Day type of thing. So if anyone wants to come, dress up, bring costumes, whatever, get weird. Then we're also playing Foam Brewers. I believe that's the first Friday of December. I forget what the actual date is. And the next one after that is going to be Bolton Valley, and that's February 2nd, and that'll be with Adventure Dog. Oh, and Foam Brewers is with Reed Parsons, which is great. And yeah, we're on Facebook and Instagram as just Bears Tapestry.
Nice.
Yeah.
Foam Brewers is a great venue, and weirdly enough, so is Bolton.
Really?
Yeah.
I was curious. I've never actually been there.
I'm guessing you're playing in the evening.
Yes.
Yeah. So you got this real captive audience of all these ski bums and people are just there for the weekend skiing at the hotel, and everyone's super up for a good time because what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Bolton in the mountains on a Friday night. Yeah. With 2 foot of snow, so it's just a weirdly good atmosphere.
Cool.
But yeah, good luck with them. What song have you got left to play us out with?
I'm gonna play a song called "Guarded Heart."
Alrighty.
Let's get my harmonica on here.
playing us out there with Garden Heart. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
No worries, and please come back on again once you've got that big band recording.
Yep,
Out
of
and ready.
course. Yeah, I would love to. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Well, that's all we've got tonight. This has been 105.9 The Radiator, The Rocket Shop. I have been your host, Tom Proctor, and good night.